Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. We talk all the time about how loud and crowded the social media world is. You need some professionals on your side to get your word out to your current clients and future clients. So go to oakcitytech.com, tell them what you're looking for. I know they'll be able to help you. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Each week, about 30 chapters, almost 600 members get together to do nothing but help each other grow our business. And our featured successful small business owner this week is Madison Brown with New Creation Photography. Madison, how are you today?
Thank you.
Now, you are a crossover guest today, just so everybody knows. Madison is a member, is in Fayetteville, and he is a member of Hall of Famers, and that's Faymers. They meet Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. at Crossroads Church, but right now they're still Zoom. But Madison is in Fayetteville, which is part of Coastal BNI, but he's also a consulting director here with me and just a swell egg. So we thought we'd have him on just to entertain everybody for about an hour. So everything good
Yeah.
with you, Madison? I know you're saying you guys had a good Mother's Day weekend.
Yes, everything is fine. We had two out of the three daughters, and then the other daughter, she was on the phone with her a long time, and we kind of took a 2 day, Saturday and Sunday celebration. So last night, Pandora was tired.
There you go.
As was I. As was I. I'm not as young as you, Mike. I'm not as young as you. So.
And Madison and I share a couple things in common. One is baseball, one is grandkids, which we'll most certainly get to talking about grandkids. But I want to talk a little bit about photography here and what you do and just some tips for some folks because you're mostly real estate photography. You also shoot little league shots, team photos and headshots and everything like that. A lot of us think we're photographers. What do we need to know to be a good photographer?
Well, to be a professional photographer, they told me in the beginning that the only thing you needed to do was to get paid. Now, you ask, what do you need to do to be a good photographer? And there are a couple things. You can take photography classes, as I did. You can also have a mentor, someone that you shoot under, and that they can not only talk to you and teach you about photography itself, but they can also teach you the business of photography because, as in any business of this type, you have to, in order to be really successful, you have to know the craft, and then you have to know the business side of it. So I would say, go ahead, take some classes at your local community college or what have you, and then get under somebody that can show you and teach you exactly how to do it and do it right.
The real estate world in the triangle, it's ridiculous. Houses are moving. We've heard stories of buyers, looking at 5 or 6 houses before they could actually get one that they wanted. Why do we need good pictures today if every house moves with barely a visit from a potential buyer?
And just to let you know, I do shoot in the triangle market. The last one I shot a couple weeks ago, that house went $30,000 over asking, and it was the asking was $200,000. And as soon as the pictures got out there, I would say the one reason that you still need professional photography is best business practice for the realtor. Because when things are going so fast as they are now, and they're going fast in Fayetteville also, uh, a realtor can get into well, I don't need to have professional photography. I can just get that front shot, that back shot. I can tell my buddies, and they're all going to want to they have buyers for it already. So I don't need to do this. Well, guess what, Mike? Everything is kind of like a biorhythm. It's going to go up and down and up and down, and it's going to shift at some time. And if you don't maintain best business practices, you would be one of those that's going to be in trouble when things start to shift. So that is my advice to realtors. Just and that's anybody in business. Maintain those best business practices, whether your industry is going great, your industry is struggling, or there are challenges. It doesn't matter because it's your brand, and that's what you are promoting. Your brand. When people look out there, and it's a realtor has those, it's on the MLS or wherever else it is. That's them. That's their brand, and they cannot. They should not take away from their brand by being careless just because times are good and homes are selling.
Oh, that's great advice just in general. What are the 3 or 4 key shots from a house that you want to post on the website?
Well, the money shot, that's what they call it. The money shot is that front. That's the money shot. So that's the one, that's the first one that people are going to see. And that's the one that you want to have perfect. So you want the sky to be perfect. You want the lighting, everything to be perfect for that one shot. The other shots on the inside that the buyers are looking at, they look at the kitchen. And now, of course, everybody wants that open architecture. So they want that the kitchen and the family room, dining area, all to be an open area. So they're looking at the kitchen because there they can see the appliances and everything else and how everything is set up. The third area that they look at is going to be the master bedroom. So they want to see how the master bedroom's laid out. They want to see how the master bath is laid out. So you really want to make sure that you get that money shot, that front of the house. You want to make sure you get that, and then after that, you want to make sure you get all of the kitchen shots and that area, and then of course the master bedroom. That's the other place that third place that people look.
And I think on the interior shots, we could probably set up the rooms pretty. I think we all have an idea of what goes into that. But as far as the exterior shot of the front of the house you're talking about, what are some things to have in the photo and some things not to have in a photo?
Well, you don't want a car pulled into the driveway. And I've seen, I don't take them like that, but I've seen pictures where there's a car in the driveway for whatever reason. You obviously you want the lawn to be manicured. So you want the grass to be cut and not just cut, but you want the shrubbery to cut and be manicured. You want that curb appeal because I tell people my realtors, my clients, that you have to take care of the on-site curb appeal, and I'll take care of the online curb appeal. So as long as you take care of that part, I will make sure that everything else looks good when the potential buyers go out and look at the property. But the biggest thing is the manicure. You want to make sure that that day the lawn has been freshly mowed and the shrubs have been freshly trimmed.
Are you a drone pilot yet?
No, no. And the reason that I am not is that I have BNI. I have BNI folks that that do that. And one it was the BNI here, and now she's in the Durham chapter, and she does the drone. And we have another one, former BNI member, that does the drone. So any drone work, I would refer to BNI. It's just that simple. So that's something that I have not done because I have BNI associates that I can refer that business to.
Oh, come on. You want a toy to play with, Madison.
Oh, we all like toys. I'm a techie guy, but I said no. I'll let them have that, and that's okay. I'm not. No, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm
I
okay as
always
long as I
yeah,
can give it to a BNI person.
there you go. I always enjoy spending other people's money. So tell the listeners here why they should not take their own pictures of their own house.
So this, if I were giving my 10-minute presentation in BNI, I would have some images to show you. But let me see if I can describe to you why not. First of all, they're not going to be using a wide angle lens. So they're just going to be getting a small portion of the room. So the room is going to look small. Um, Even with the cell phone, everybody is a cell phone professional these days, and we took cell phone pictures this weekend for Mother's Day. I have no problems with my cell phone, but when you're talking about something that's going to cost somebody thousands of dollars, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars and $1 million, you don't want to be out there taking pictures with your cell phone because those pictures can be dark. And normally, the people out there doing that don't have the software and the knowledge of how to use the software to enhance the image if they need to be enhanced. You're not going to get the right angles because unless you've been trained in real estate photography, there are certain angles, there are certain things that you don't do. Okay, and there are certain shots and angles that are important and make the room look good. For example, I'm tall, so I can't take a picture at my height. People always ask me, why are you stooping? Why are you stooping? Well, I'm stooping because pictures should be, when somebody looks at an image of a house interior, it should be at the height of the average person. It shouldn't be me looking down on it. So there are just different things that unless you have been trained how to do this, you won't know. And you'll just be out there taking pictures and going, hey, houses are selling fast. I'm good. No, you're not good because something's going to change and now you're going to have problems. So, yeah.
I'm with you on the cell phones. I just got a brand you know, I've heard this before. I just got a brand new phone. It's got a great camera, but still it's not up to par with even an average camera you would have, right?
I, I've got a Google Pixel 5. I love it. Love it. And it takes great pictures, but I would not go out and shoot real estate with that phone. No. Mm-mm.
Who gave you your first camera and when was it?
My father actually, my father took a lot of pictures. I actually have his camera, and if I'd known you were going to ask this question, it'll take me about 10 seconds to get it because I have it here in my home office. But I have the camera that he used. It was one of those that you open at the top and you look down in, and you take the picture, and then you wound it up for the next picture. So there was something on the side that you wound up to get to the next frame. And he bought my brother and I cameras when we were probably, I don't know, 7. And he and I took pictures. We took pictures with our cameras and still have the camera, as a matter of fact. And over the years, my brother was actually the one that everybody thought and was going to be the photographer because he was taking more pictures than me, and it just kind of changed over time. But yeah, my father took a lot of pictures, and he bought us our first cameras, and it just continued to snowball from there.
How much film did you and your brother go through those first couple of years once your dad gave you a camera?
Okay, so now, are you talking about the film where we actually tried to develop our own pictures? We had an extra bedroom, so um, we we were I don't want to say we were geeky, but yeah, okay, yeah, all right. So we had an extra bedroom, so we decided that at night we were going to close the blinds and then make the room really dark, and we were going to develop our own pictures. And we had this. I think you could buy this, all the chemicals and develop your own pictures. So we decided that we were going to do that. So how much film did we waste that way? We probably burned through quite a bit trying to develop our own pictures, but uh, otherwise, yeah, we used a lot of film because we took a lot of pictures. So yeah,
We
but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We were never successful at developing our own pictures, by the way. I just need to say that.
we are here with Madison Brown, owner of New Creation Photography. He's a real estate and little league photographer based out of Fayetteville, but he works in the Triangle area a whole lot. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. And Madison would be someone you would hire to take pictures for your brand new website. And Oak City Tech folks can help you with that. They can also help you with the content of that website. So when Madison takes great pictures, they can write wonderful stories about that. But you need professionals like that out in the social media world. Everybody's on social media, everybody's on the internet. So you want to make sure you have a wonderful presence there. And the folks at Oak City Tech can help you. Go to oakcitytech.com, tell them what you're looking for. I know they'll be able to help you. All right, Madison, you have a varied background. You've got 12
Hmm.
years or so at IBM. You've got
Hmm.
about 18 years in the Army. How
Hmm.
do you make the shift from that to being a photographer?
Well, I make the shift because I always wanted to own my own business, and this is from a small child. So the reason I got in the army, I was in college, and it was my freshman year, and the that was back in the day where they had the lottery. So we're sitting in the dorm room watching them draw the numbers, and March the 6th was number one. Well, my birthday is March the 7th, so I figured the odds, right? You're never going to get. It's going to be at least 100 or 200. Well, March the 7th came up number two. So I toyed with the idea of getting drafted or going into ROTC. I chose ROTC, and that started the military career. And then after that, I still wanted to have own my own business. So I did computer portraits for a while, and also I had some other other interesting professions. But then IBM came along, and of course I love computers, and went with them. Stayed up there until for 12 years, and still had the desire to own my own business. That was one desire that never left me, and so when our youngest daughter graduated vet school from NC State, my wife and I said, well, this is a time that we can do what we want to do because we won't have anybody in our pocket. So we started new creation photography while I was still at IBM. She was still at the post office. We did mostly weddings and family reunions at the time because back in 2007, 2006, 2007, that's what was very, very popular. And so it wasn't difficult to transition into owning my own business because that's what I always wanted to do. And it really wasn't difficult to transition into photography because I was already doing it. Wherever we lived, I was always the kind of the unofficial official photographer. So those two things were always with me.
I assume that you are always getting calls from family and friends. Hey, Madison, would you mind coming over and shooting fill in the blank event, right?
Well, well, family lives a little distance, but the last project that I worked on for family, I'm also the family historian. So all of the old photographs, old pictures, all of the old anything, as people have gone on, I have. So I recently, a few months ago, put together a project for my cousin for her 70th birthday. Her daughter had asked about it because she knew I had all the pictures. So I put together a nice presentation of pictures from my grandparents, which were her great grandparents, and just people all through the ages, and images and pictures that none of them had. So that being able to do that for family makes me feel real good. So uh, uh, I've done some weddings for family. I would say be careful when you're doing things for family. That's all I'll say.
As family historian, I don't think most families have someone designated officially for that. How many places did you have to look or family members to call to get all those photographs and other information that you need?
Okay, several places. I had two second cousins, my father's first cousins. One lived to be 101, just shy of 102, and the other one lived to be 97, just shy of 98. So I would go to their house in Maryland, and I would write on napkins anything that I could find to write on, and I would just sit under them, ask them questions, and write down what they said. My grandmother in Alabama, when we went down there in the summer, I would always spend a lot of time with her, and she would tell me a lot of stories that unfortunately I wasn't writing down. But over the years, I did remember some of the stories, and I have been to graveyards and written down the family members that were in graveyards. I have been to the courthouse, and that was in Alabama. I've been to the courthouse in Maryland, and I have researched books that they had, handwritten books that they had there. And so, of course, we've gone on the family ancestry site. And so, just a lot of things and talking to people and trying to and kicking myself because I didn't talk to some of these people when they were still around. But it's some work involved. But when you start to put things together and things come together, it's very, very rewarding. Very rewarding.
How many family members told you a story with the caveat of, "But you can't tell anyone else"?
Well, no, none really. I mean, when my grandmother was telling stories, uh, when we go down to Tuskegee, Alabama, and she'd tell me stories, I would probably think that some of those stories my mother probably didn't want her to tell, but it's okay. And my mother's brothers probably didn't want her to tell me, but it was okay. I'm glad she did because I know some things, but no, they. When my father got older and he had dementia, he started to tell me some stories, and I'm thinking, okay, I really don't need to hear that. Please don't tell me that. You're my father. Don't tell me that.
Nothing's better than grandmas telling stories.
Yeah,
Those are so
yeah.
good because they go into great detail, and you're like you said earlier, they remember way more than we want them to. Now, how many generations of your family can you go back to?
I can go back to uh, my grandparents' parents. So that would be my great grandparents. That's about as far as I can really go back, which actually takes me back to the mid 1800s.
Wow,
So
where did they live?
that's the best I can do.
Where did they live?
Mm. Um, Maryland and Alabama. My father was from Maryland and my mother was from Alabama. So a combination of those two states. And yeah, so it was. It's interesting. It's interesting to actually go in and research and try to find out as much as you can. And I have some. I have pictures. I did. I do photo reconstruction, restoration, and I did restore a picture of my father's grandmother, his mother's mother. So I have that, and that's a good one to have. So not a lot of pictures from that era, but I do have a few.
How difficult is that to do, Madison?
Um, Photo restoration is something I picked up as part of wanting to know more about Photoshop and how to do things in Photoshop. And as and part of it is when in photography, you do have to enhance some of the pictures that you take. So I just wanted to be able to learn how to learn the program. And then in doing so, what I found out is that I could actually be of service to somebody who has old photographs. I've got one that's coming in today of a lady came to me and she had a brother and her brother's deceased now, but they're pictures of her brother when he was younger. And I've got another one the same way that I'm working on. So what I found is that it just gives me great joy to take something that almost destroyed and bring it back to life and just see the joy on people's faces when I give it back to them. So that's something we do, and we do it not so much for money, but we do it because it just makes people feel good, and that makes me feel good.
Did any of your 3 daughters pick up your eye for photography?
Um, I would say two of them can, but not. They went in other directions. The oldest daughter is she graduated UNCG with Greensboro with a deaf education degree, and she went into teaching. And then um, my middle daughter, she's a pediatric RN. She lives in Georgia now. And the youngest daughter, as I said, she got her vet degree from NC State, so she's a vet. So they went into different directions, and that's okay. That's okay.
Were you a
I'm proud
good
of
Oh, I bet, yeah. Were you a good
it.
substitute teacher back in the day?
I was. It was. I'd gotten out of the army in El Paso, and that was one of the things that I did. I went in. Pandora was teaching full time, and so I said, "Well, I can substitute." And then they asked me to take a seventh grade English class full time, and for a whole semester. So I did that, and I had a great time. Matter of fact, I had toyed with the idea of going ahead and taking the extra courses, education courses, and the two of us staying there and being teachers. And then the Army came along, and I found out that as a captain going back in the Army, I could make three times more than I could make teaching in El Paso, Texas. So there wasn't much of a wasn't much of a decision to be made there. So yeah.
What was your rank in the Army?
When I got out of the Navy, I went in as a second lieutenant back in the day, and then 1993 is when I finally got out, took an early out.
What was your specialty?
I went in as an air defense officer, and then when probably in the late, probably about '87, I transitioned over to civil affairs when I was stationed in Minnesota. So air defense and civil affairs were the two specialties.
How cold were those Minnesota winters?
Everything you hear, just take it down a few degrees and you got it. It was, now you have to understand, we came from El Paso, Texas to Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities. So we were coming from, 90, 80, 90, 100 degree weather. And now, we're going to sub-zero weather. Uh, and I remember when I was looking for a house, I went up first, and the realtor was taking me around, and he said, "Well, that's the snow lift up there. That's the ski. That's where they ski, and it'll be operational here in another few weeks." And this is in November, and this is October, and I'm looking, and I'm saying, "So if it's going to be snow up there, what's it going to be here?" And of course, obviously, snow. But the lakes would freeze over. I tell anybody, I have walked on water. I have walked on water many times. Well, because I walked on the lakes when they were frozen. So yeah, there's lots of stories about Minnesota and how cold it was, or it is. But we enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it. We stayed there 7 years, so we enjoyed it.
I just have pictures of you moose hunting and ice fishing.
Well, the one thing that I really wanted to do, and I never got an opportunity to do, was go ice fishing, because that was really a big thing around there. And life just kind of takes over, and you're doing what you do, and you have this thing in your mind: before I leave here, I want to do this, I want to do that. And ice fishing was probably the one thing that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do, because you would see them out there in their little houses, and you know, uh, sitting on the water with their, yeah, ice fishing. But yeah,
Now
it's
that's a
real.
restored photo I'd love to see.
Yeah.
During all your tours, you had to stop in Germany. Did you enjoy
Yeah,
living over there?
we did. That was our very first stop after I finished school at Fort Bliss in El Paso. We went to Germany and stayed over there 3.5 years. And two of our daughters were born in Germany, so I guess they have dual citizenship. But Germany was, I was in air defense, so I spent a lot of time in the field, and it was cold over there in the field. It seemed like they only wanted to have exercises when it was cold. And I said, okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. They said because they do less maneuver damage with the tracked vehicles, and that's why you want to go out when the ground is frozen. So that actually that did make sense. But going out in the cold was not a favorite thing. But yes, we have friends that we still have from Germany. Our oldest daughter's godparents we met in Germany. So it was you make things, you make a place, you make the place. The place doesn't make you, and that's always been our attitude. We went all over Europe on different tours, and everything. So we enjoyed our time in Germany, our 3.5 years there. We enjoyed it.
My father-in-law is a retired Air Force colonel, and my wife graduated high school in Heidelberg, and her sister
Okay.
was born in Japan. And they, like you, they
Mhm.
loved the military. And you're right, they took full advantage of everything to do. And my wife skied in the Alps, swam in the Dead Sea. They traveled all over the place and they loved it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to do that. Like I said, you make the place. You asked me about Minnesota, but you make it what you want it to be. You don't let it make you. And so that's been our attitude wherever we've gone. And same thing here in Fayetteville. Although Fayetteville's been a little bit more difficult to make it what you want. No, I'm only kidding. Halfway.
We are here with Madison Brown, owner of New Creation Photography. Madison's a member of the BNI Chapter Hall of Famers in Fayetteville. They meet Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. So if you want to hang out with a good group of small business owners, you can get in touch with Madison on his phone number here on the screen. We've been putting up throughout the show, and get the Zoom link and come visit. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. Folks, one of the things you should not forget about is an email list because Facebook can kick you off of Facebook. Other sites can just knock you off. They can go out of business, take all your content, all your contacts, but you own your email list. So get with the folks at Oak City Tech about how to put that together and then what to send out so you can keep in touch with your clients. Go to oakcitytech.com. Tell them what you're looking for. Tell Drago we said hi. All right, Madison, always have on the show folks that are married, have two questions for them. So you and your wife,
Okay.
Pandora, how did you meet? And do you both tell the story the same way?
Okay. I was telling her the story the other day, and she said, "Here we go." So we were in college, our sophomore year in college, and I was back early. We went to Hampton University, and I was back early for band camp. I was in the band, and a friend of mine said that he was meeting his girlfriend, and I knew his girlfriend because she was also in the band at the Grill, which was like the campus hangout. So I said, he wanted to know, you want to walk down with me? I said, okay. So we walked down. And so I go in, and his girlfriend, Cynthia, is sitting there with Pandora. And I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm done. She's the one. I'm in love. And so, a lot of people say, well, that's crazy. That's foolish. I'm not going to argue with anybody over how they think I felt or didn't feel at the time because that was back in 1972 and we're still together. But anyway, so uh, now the problem was, the challenge was, I had to convince her of how I felt, and so that she could feel the same way about me. So my roommate at the time was a senior, and he was in ROTC, and he said he was thinking about asking her out. Well, I said to myself, this can never happen. So I asked her out, and the first date was to go to see the movie The Man. That was with James Earl Jones, and he was the first black president. Now, this is back in '72. So the president, the vice president, and the Speaker of the House had all died in some tragic accident, and he was the president pro tem. So if you ask me anything else about the movie, I can honestly say I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it again today. But that was our first date, and that was back in August, September of 1972, and we've been together ever since.
Now,
And she knows that's the story.
okay, now when I do talk to Pandora eventually, and I would ask her when you were sitting there and this strapping young fellow, 6'2", 6'4", all chiseled and everything walks in, what was your first thought? And what would she tell me?
She would tell you that she was not looking for anybody. She would tell you that um, she was very comfortable and satisfied, just like she was. And yeah, she would tell you that her my thoughts were not her thoughts in reverse. She would tell you that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because you won in the end.
That's why I'm okay with that.
Now, how long did it take for her to come around to realize you were the one?
Well, let's see. We started dating in, let's see, that was August. We started dating in September. And yeah, so it took me a whole month. Can you imagine? A whole month. And after that, we were inseparable. So yeah,
And,
I don't know what I did.
yeah,
I don't know what I did. If you asked me to recreate it and do it again, I would fail. But
mm,
but it worked that whatever it was, it worked that time. And that's
and
the only time I needed it to work.
and I'm with you. I'm a firm believer of first sight. I was the same way, but we can go into that another time. The friend of
Mm.
yours that was going to ask her out, do you know whatever happened to him? Did he ever marry someone as cool as Pandora?
Well, he went on to date someone that was a friend of Pandora's, and he, like I said, he was in ROTC, so he retired a lieutenant colonel, and I don't know since then exactly, what he's been doing. I don't know if he got married or not, but I do know that he did go after ROTC, went into the service, and he did retire as lieutenant colonel. So yeah, but he was a good guy. He was a good guy. He just wasn't the right guy for Pandora. I was. He just didn't know that.
I like the way you were helping Pandora that early on.
Yeah. I mean, I had to look out for it, right?
Yep. All right. So grandkids, you have five. I have one. I know how much fun one is, so I know five's got to be a ton of fun. List them by in order of age. Give me first names.
Okay, Jerry is 18, Nina is 11, and then Jaleel is 9, and Silas is 7, and Kamal is 7.
And what do they call you?
They call me Grandpa.
All right. You good with
I
that?
am Grandpa. Yeah, I mean that's what I wanted, and there were all the other names, and I said no, we're just gonna go with something traditional, something simple. I want to be Grandpa. My brother, I think he's Paw Paw or something. I don't know. But anyway, I just want to be Grandpa. That's all I want to be. I just want to be Grandpa. So yeah.
I assume those are five of the most spoiled kids walking the planet.
um, I would say that they are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have a good time with them. Two are over, of course, this weekend for Mother's Day activities, and I have a garden, so I also have an area where I have nothing but berries, fruit and berries. So whenever they come over, they always want to go out there and pick. Now strawberries are already now. So they're picking strawberries, and the one grandson, Silas, I said, Silas, that was not ready yet. We've already picked all of them that are ready. And so then I have a lot of blueberries, and he loves blueberries. So when they get ready, he's going to be all over my blueberries, which is fine with me because I would rather for them have something for them when they come over like that than me eat them all. So it's good. It's good. I love it. I love it.
Now, you list here under hobbies, you are a container gardener. What does that mean?
What does that mean? That means that I do not plant anything directly into the ground. I have so raised beds, and that's where you build up. Some people call them boxes, but you build up above the soil level, and you actually put the soil that you want in it. And then I have found that something called grow bags. Some people call it smart pots, but they are actually cloth bags, and I have anything from 5 gallon to 100 gallon, and that's what I plant: tomatoes, watermelons, peppers, everything, cantaloupes, cucumbers, squash. Everything goes into those on my raised bed. So this year I'm going to try peanuts again. So Saturday I went out and got my raw peanuts from the nursery, and now I've got them sprouting on the inside, and probably in another week or so, I might be putting them in one of my raised beds. So yeah, nothing goes into the ground directly into the ground. Everything is in a container or a raised bed.
Is that just the best way to grow something or just the way you wanna do it?
think it's the way that I want to do it, because I'm still living in the city, and I can do a lot more this way than I could if I took uh, half my backyard, and plowed it up and all of that. So my parents always had a garden. My father was an agriculture teacher. He had the 4-H, not the 4-H or the FFA guys, where he was the advisor for them, and they always had a garden with the tractor. You plow and all that. But we lived in the country, so you could do that. But here in the city, you have limited space, and so this is the way I prefer to do it, so that I can maximize what I'm able to do.
What is on the list to grow that you have not planted yet?
I still have. I try to grow everything from seed and not go to the nursery and buy plants. So I still have some tomatoes and some uh, bell peppers and hot peppers that either I'm going to plant or I'm going to try to give away. Because when you go by seed, I seem to always grow too much. I've already given away some, and I think the peanuts. I have some flowers I'm going to plant, but the zinnias, but the peanuts are the last thing that I haven't done anything with yet. But then, they are they're tropical plant anyway, so if they need lots and lots of hot weather,
Well,
but everything else is already in.
if you're looking for somebody to
Mhm.
give the green peppers to, you just give me a call. I'll meet you somewhere for those, okay?
Okay.
Love peppers and onions, so cannot get enough of those.
Okay. Yeah,
What
I've got
is
onions out there too growing.
Yeah, what is the best thing about being a photographer?
Meeting people, new people, different people all the time. Every job you meet somebody different. And then in real estate, you say, well, uh, how can you? How can you? I always my saying is, we new creation photography, where we make taking pictures of amazing people and things not only a wonderful but a fun experience. And then the question is, well, how do you make taking pictures of houses a fun experience? A lot of these homes, people are still there, and it's even though homes are selling fast, it's still stressful to try to get your house ready for the market. And so I go in, and one of the things that I think the biggest thing that I do, other than take quality images, is to put them at ease, because they want to know, is this right? Is that right? What should it? What? And you could tell that there's some nervousness in them. And what I'll do is go in and compliment them on the things that they have done that look good, and then I'll make a little suggestion. Well, I think if we did this, it would make for a better image, a better picture. Okay, okay, okay. And then I'll compliment them again. And so, you have to be personable. You can't just come in, this is me, and just start snapping pictures. You have to be personable, put the people at ease, and you meet people. And that's just how it works. Meeting people.
Now, your website is newcreationphotography.net, not .com.
Yes.
Everybody needs to get it right, .net. We were talking before we
Yes.
came on. There's a funny story. If they go to .com, Madison, what will they find?
Well, they will see pictures. They will see maternity pictures, baby pictures, but they will also see birth pictures. Okay, I don't do birth pictures. So newcreationphotography.com was already taken so many years ago when I first started, and that was okay. And I went out, and people would always confuse that in the beginning, and they would go out and they would tell me what they saw, and I said, well, let me just go out here and see what I see. And I go, oh, okay, no, that's not me. That's not me, and I'm not in Iowa, so it's all good.
So make sure everybody knows it's newcreationphotography.net.
No S on creation.
Right.
A lot of people make that mistake.
New
No S on the end of creation.
creation is singular, but the photos are
Yes.
plural. The talent is plural plus. Madison, we've enjoyed having you on the show. Good luck with everything. I know the market will continue to stay busy, and glad little
Yes.
league teams are getting back to playing. So I know you enjoy shooting those shots too.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well,
Most definitely.
good luck with everything. We've enjoyed having you on the show, and we will see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.